How's your fast, Ashton?
Gaffer wants me to talk about my fast.
All right, I'm not gonna do it.
You brought it up. I'm introing you. Don't put this on me.
Today isn't just a special day. I just broke my fast. It's Sunday. We're filming.
Congratulations.
I did a 3-day dry fast, which it's tough to talk about fasting because people
look at you crazy.
They do. They're like, you didn't eat
because you do crazy fasts.
I do crazy fast, bro. It's and then I'd be like, it's crazy. And I don't.
So wait. What's a dry fast?
So a 3-day dry fast is where normal fast is where you don't eat food. Dry fast is where you don't drink water. So you don't eat food and you don't drink water for 72 hours. And honestly, it was pretty easy. The only thing that was making me hungry is my cat because that nigga kept getting hungry. And
you were feeding your cat.
Day 3, that nigga's cat food.
It was like the cartoon. It was like turning into a steak.
Yeah.
And then you turn your cat's a steak too.
This nigga was licking plates. I was licking my lips. He was licking his. I was like, this shit looks. That shit make you hungry. I ain't gonna lie. But I'm so clear-minded. I'm ready to go, nigga. I'm ready to talk about these fucked up ass cops. That it's I guess I do the fast to for a spiritual purpose.
Sure.
I don't know why. I know my ass.
Well, why do people do these fasts? Other people who are doing this, why are y'all doing this?
When I look online to see other people's Reddits to resources, it's all to lose weight. And they're all like, if I fast, I'll get rid of this herpes. It's like, that's not, it'll burn away the herpes. That's how most people in Brooklyn live.
And so you're saying you're doing it for non-herpes
related reasons, more for spiritual, more for discipline, telling myself no. Some of you could tell yourself a little no.
But this is a thing, though, right? Or so
fasting. Oh, it's a thing.
I know. But you're saying you don't know why other people do it. People do it for this.
Niggas been doing fasting and meditation and type shit for thousands of years.
I know, motherfucker. You're talking to a Muslim ass co-host with you right now. I'm just saying. You were like, I don't know why other people do this.
I'm sorry, I don't know what the fuck you want me to say.
No, that was good. That was good. That was a good joke. I'm gonna assume that was a good joke.
I love being in Brooklyn. Because these are my people. I'm like every episode. You know what it is? It's so crazy how I know I talk about white women a lot, but it's just spiritually. I wish white women weren't socially fucked up because spiritually I'm a white woman.
Yeah, you are.
I literally listen to nothing but Charlie XCX and fucking Chappell Roan for the first half of this year. And then now I'm like a crystal bitch.
You're always, crystal. You're always talking about your new diet.
I got this gold chain of this. Don't even know what it is. Don't even know what the symbol is, but I got it.
Yeah. So, does it make you feel good?
My next purchase is gonna be a gold rimmed sombrero or in a poncho. I'm gonna go to Coachella. There's a Coachella white girl living inside of me. All right. But
let's start this podcast with Jafar Khan and your favorite white chick, Ashton Womack. Welcome to KAWPS, the podcast. Two comedians bring you all the horrifying news of the police this week, because why not? So first thing we like to do here is run through our little headline roundup before we dive into the more fun stories to talk about. Let's do a roundup. These are the ones that I found at least, police-related stories of the week. Starting out, cop in California kills a 16-year-old boy who was running away from another gunman. The victim's name has not yet been released.
Cops in North Carolina kill a driver after running a red light. R.I.P. Cora Cotrette.
Cop in Florida went on a high-speed chase over an unreadable license plate that led to the death of a pedestrian. R.I.P. Gerald Neal.
Cop in Vermont charged with fatally crashing into a bicyclist. R.I.P. Sean Hayes.
6 prison cops in New York charged with the murder of Robert Brooks. R.I.P. Robert Brooks.
Cop in Colorado convicted of murdering a man who called 911. R.I.P. Christian Glass.
Cops in Louisiana shot a man who was driving away.
Cops in New Hampshire shot a man who was driving away.
Cop in California pleads guilty to beating up a teenager.
Cops in California caught on camera watching and laughing while a teenager gets jumped.
Cops in Tennessee suspended for assaulting a woman.
Cops in North Carolina are charged with assaulting an elderly disabled person.
Cop in Connecticut convicted of sexual assault.
Cop in New York charged with child abuse.
School cop in South Carolina charged with child sex crimes.
Cop in Texas charged with child sex crimes.
Another cop in Texas is arrested for child porn.
A goddamn third cop in Texas is arrested for child porn and also child molestation.
And a cop in Oklahoma is now formally charged with sexually assaulting, and threatening to kill his girlfriend, who was actually arrested 3 months ago, but is still on paid leave. So, good for that guy. And shout out police all over our country, keeping us safe. So
some of y'all need to commit less crimes, so I don't have to. This one of these. The last one. That's 3 sentences, nigga. Damn.
Yeah,
that's crazy. You could have just been charged with assaulting, but instead you were charged with assaulting and sexually assaulted. Come on, bro. That's two extra words in this whole thing we got to read. Fuck you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a lot of these could be that way. I just kind of chose to really land on this last guy for whatever reason. But yeah, before we get into our main stories, sign up for our Patreon. We do a bonus episode every week, so you'll get more stories to cover. It's only $5 a month. Please support us. And also, I'm gonna start saying this. Give us a 5-star rating. That really helps boosts us through our algorithm. It'll help spread the podcast, spread the word. Give us a 5-star rating on wherever you're listening to. And we could still use a sponsor. We will sell whatever product you have, whether it's good, evil. Just help us out, please, for the love of God.
I will get me undies tattooed on my forehead.
He will.
Like Amber Rose or whatever.
He will. We talk about this. He wants something on his forehead.
I'm trying to, shift things up for this next year, face tats.
All right. So let's start out here. Our first story, we're going to Oklahoma, and we're reading from the Oklahoman, who they seem to be starting to uncover, it's not case closed yet, but they're starting to uncover a little speed ticketing scheme that's going on in a small town in Oklahoma in order to generate revenue. So, quote, this is directly from the article. Gray returned from her cruiser with a slip of paper from the District 1 Drug Task Force associated with the local district attorney's office. So that's important. It's the DA's office that we're being a little suspicious of right here. The ticket, if that's what it was, claimed she had been caught on radar going 58 in a 45 zone. But the ticket was oddly primitive. There was no statute listed, no fine, no order to appear, nothing even to sign. Gray told her to call the number listed there. There would be some costs. But then it would be like the whole thing never happened. To her, that just didn't seem right.
Oh yeah, that just sounds like that's like blatant. That's like systemic corruption, like a
big time,
literal system of corruption.
Yeah,
like where they got
a system.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, literally, like,
that's outside the system they're supposed to be doing.
Cisco came in and was like, "Well, this is how we can install the update to your corruption." But it just sounds like they were like, "Yeah, it's going to cost you $150, but you slide me $50."
Exactly.
This ticket is how you bribe me.
Exactly. They literally put in like a bribery system. So if you're in Oklahoma and you get pulled over by a drug task force cop, and a drug task force cop is giving you a speeding ticket written in crayon and is asking you to cash app his homeboy to get out of it, just send us a screenshot of that ticket, and we would love to have that.
Yeah, please do. It's so crazy how life feels more like the fucking video games I be playing, because usually I be playing all these video games and I'll get like caught doing a crime in a video game, and it'll be like, you have an option: pay the ticket or bribe the cop for $50. It's like, what the fuck? I can really do that in real life. Yeah, this is okay. All right, you learn more.
So shout out to this small town district attorney's office in Oklahoma. But now we're going to move to a related story as far as ticketing schemes go. It's one of my favorite stories from last year. So Ashton, take it away.
This is at a different police ticketing scheme police department. Connecticut insider Governor Ned Lamont said an investigation was being launched after a damning new audit found there is a high likelihood hundreds of Connecticut state police troopers collectively falsified tens of thousands of traffic ticket records over much of the past decade. The findings presented at a public meeting Wednesday alleged systemic violations of state law and that the misreporting skewed racial profiling data, making it appear troopers ticketed more white drivers and fewer minority motorists than they really did.
So great start already. And I just want to real quick, sorry to interrupt, just highlight that it says here tens and thousands of false tickets going much of the past decade. So this is far spread all over through Connecticut state troopers. This is not like one little small DA's office.
You know how bad your racial discrimination is when you got to cook the books on it?
Yeah.
you got like, oh shit.
Yeah. You got to invent a fake paper trail. Yeah. Well, let's keep reading first before we completely dive into this.
Okay. In the audit, traffic tickets records in two separate databases were compared. Records in each database are supposed to match, but as state police investigators found several years ago, 4 troopers had created phony tickets or ghost stops within one of the databases. An internal system supervisor used to monitor ticket writing activities, included for performance reviews. So the same system the cops got performance reviews on, they also use that system to put the fake tickets.
They're comparing two databases where they're supposed to be submitting all their records of ticketing, and they are finding some discrepancies.
Okay,
so now they're starting to analyze what's the discrepancies here.
Okay, so but the performance review.
It says that they use this internal system for many things, including for performance reviews.
Okay, that's funny to me that that's a crazy. The same system they use performance reviews is also the same system they use to give out fake tickets. Like they can just that's very convenient for the cops. That's very they're like you're getting a performance review and they're just like so if you just click over to the next tab, you can see how many broken tail lights I gave out.
Exactly.
You can just see my performance.
You can see I saved this innocent white girl who was kidnapped by these evil perpetrators over here. This ticket I wrote here shows that I did that. So
that's why I think I deserve a tank.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I'll continue. Sorry, that just the performance review part got me.
No, that is hilarious.
But because those fake tickets were never actually issued to drivers, they did not appear in the second database, an independent system maintained by the state's judicial branch used for recording adjudication of citations, penalties, and fines. The audit also found 16,298 citations reported to the judicial database were never reported to the racial profiling system between 2015 and 2021.
Okay, so it's getting interesting now. It's saying we got fake citations being written, that they're there to racially askew the data of who they're actually giving tickets to, and that one of these databases contains tickets that they actually gave out, but another of the databases contains a bunch of tickets that were never actually given out, and that database is a racial profiling database. So a database that's in place to make sure that cops are not being racist when they're giving out traffic citations.
That's good. Very convenient.
And these cops, for some reason, are writing fake tickets and sending it in to the racial database, the racial monitoring database.
To cover their tracks. See, people, there aren't two justice systems. There's two databases. It's actually,
you got it
get
right.
All right, it's not two justice systems.
All right, let's read this last little paragraph's important,
Okay.
then we can go in on this.
The failure to report those tickets to the racial profiling system was a violation of state law, the auditor said. Overreported records were more likely to be reported as white drivers and less likely to be reported as black or Hispanic drivers, the auditors found, while underreported records were more likely to be Hispanic or some other race and less likely to be white, the audit said.
Okay, so sorry, let me just break this down, how ridiculous and insane this story is. This is saying that for about a decade, hundreds of state troopers have been under this racial monitoring database that's there specifically to make sure that they are not being racist when pulling people over and only giving tickets to black and brown people and not to white people. So what do these Connecticut state troopers do? And again, it mentions that it started with them studying 4 of them, but it's really hundreds once they really looked into it doing this, that they're like, oh, we got to give our shit to a racial database to make sure we're not being racist. Well, then let's instead write fake made up tickets of made up white people that we didn't actually give tickets to send in to this racial profiling database to cover our tracks so we get to still be racist out here on these streets. The lengths they go.
You gave Homer Simpson a ticket? Yeah. Yep. Hank Hill, Homer Simpson.
Said here, SpongeBob SquarePants was going 80 and a 60.
Peter Griffin. Everybody who was on the Monday night Fox.
Yeah. You know, they had to have that meeting, right?
Yeah,
you know,
guys,
at a certain point, they got caught doing this. The auditors had to come in.
You gotta start putting in real sounding white guys into the...
Yeah. Well,
Al Bundy? Who gave 45 tickets to Al Bundy last week?
Yeah. They get called into the office. It says here you gave a ticket to a guy named John Halliburton, which we gotta say, that is more believable than Bart Simpson, but we're not really seeing any history behind John Halliburton.
I'm not racist. I gave plenty of tickets to John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. What?
Yeah. Says here you got 4 tickets to Andrew Santino over here, but he doesn't seem to live in Connecticut.
Joe Rogan. I gave him, what's that one weird ass right wing who's always crying? Fuck.
What? I don't know.
He's always, I forgot his name.
Elon
Jordan
Musk.
Peterson is
Jordan Peterson. I was close.
Elon Musk, yeah, he's just writing in all the... No, this is a crazy story.
It's such a crazy story because it's like, you really think about what is the psychology here to like go through all this. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of unbelievable that the cops would be like this consciously racist.
No, it's not unbelievable. It's to create a society of oppression, environment of oppression, one based off of racial discrimination used by the police force.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Not when that's like, it ain't unbelievable. It's always
why would
shocking.
Why would you find that believable, Ashton Womack?
Because I guess I'm black. Because I'm black.
But it's like, I guess that's me being naive, where like I'm like I in my mind, like a lot of these cops, they're just like, they don't realize that they're tools of the white supremacy war on the ground, fighting the ground war of these horrible systems. They just think they're doing their job, and that they're sent to patrol certain neighborhoods, and they don't realize that they act differently in other neighborhoods, and it's all like this sort of subconscious racism they've never made an effort to dislodge from their mind. But this level of like intentionally, to me, it's mind blowing.
Yeah, no, I would like to be mind blown. I've just known driving while black.
Yeah, I've never experienced that.
This doesn't surprise me. If you're surprised by this, wait till I tell you that they don't like black people flying planes either. Like, you think driving is one thing? Let me tell you that dude.
Yeah,
we have DEI air pilots now apparently. So like black people, we can't even drive, can't fly a plane, flying while black. All that,
you're up over the Pacific Ocean. Woo,
yeah.
woo, woo.
It's gotten to the point where I don't even like I'm glad I live in New York because I don't drive. You can't get me for driving while black.
Honestly.
And when I go back to Texas, I don't drive either. I Uber or I run everywhere like I'm Jonathan Majors when he ran away from that white lady in the car. I wish we could add footage of him running away from that white lady the night he went to jail. Anyway.
How do you feel?
Did you ever see that?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God, you gotta watch it. It's insane. Jonathan Majors, the night he got arrested.
Yeah.
He gets out of the car. He gets like the altercation happens in the car. He gets out. He starts running like fucking Jesse Owens. I'm not like kidding. This man, he like takes off. It's Jonathan Majors, so he's like full 40-yard dash sprint, and this little white lady just no way. And she's chasing, and he's like mean. Anyway, that's it. I'm just saying that's how I get around that. My main means of transportation. I run like that.
Yeah.
But should we move on? We
can move on.
Sorry, I know we got
a lot to cover. So we're gonna more on DWB driving while black. We're gonna go to the Chicago Tribune. Black drivers in Chicago are more likely to be stopped by police than issued tickets by traffic cameras, highlighting the role of racial bias in traffic stops, according to a new study. They found that on a street where half of the drivers were white, the probability of a white driver getting a traffic camera ticket was just under 50%. Huh. Interesting. While white drivers made up on average fewer than 20% of the police stops. So again, when the drivers are half white, the traffic camera will give half white people tickets, but cops give fewer than 20% of those half white people tickets. On a street where half of the drivers were black, the probability of a black driver getting a camera ticket was 54%, but black drivers made up about 70% of police stops.
Damn. What do you think happens whenever a traffic light catches like a light-skinned person like Drake or like Zendaya? It's like, I don't know what to do. It just starts smoking from it.
Yeah.
No.
No, I'm sure if there was a cop behind there, he'll play it safe and just pull over and then see play it out.
One drop rule.
Got to keep the streets safe. No one drop rule. Yeah.
Fucking, this is why when I used to have my car, you could never pull me over for speeding. That's why I can never play that speeding shit with a cop with me. That like driving while black, fake ass pull over. It never worked because my car would catch on fire if I ever drove past like 40 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. That's why they'd be like, son, you know you're doing 60 and a 50. I'm like, I know you lying because my car would catch on fire at 40. So
yeah. And for anyone out there not laughing hysterically at what Ashton said, because you should be, y'all don't realize how much this is not a joke. It sounds like, Ashton says a lot of things like out of left field, that's like, he's a Daily Show writer, a lot of really great imaginative jokes. This is not an example of Ashton's imagination. This is an example of Ashton's life in Houston, of his car regularly catching on fire.
I know you fucking lying, nigga. If my car went to 50, we all did. If it hit 50, everybody in this bitch is gone, bro. I know you lying.
Of Ashton showing up to the show like, oh, sorry, I missed my spot. My car caught on fire. Am I still good? Can I go up next?
It's cool. It just only need an hour. Calm down. The flames subside.
Ashton, are you okay? No, just my car caught on fire. I'm fine. I didn't catch on fire.
Damn. You know what? I will say I was fine, but damn, actually I wasn't.
No, you weren't.
My fingernails weren't growing.
Yeah.
But anyway, on from hysterical laughter to a tragic story out in San Diego.
Yeah.
Horrible transition, but it's that time of the show where we always got to have fun, but then we got to give you it's cops. You know what time it is. Niggas is fucked up. So this is a messed up story out of San Diego coming from 10 News. Authorities on Friday released video footage of a police shooting that fatally wounded a 16-year-old boy as he was fleeing from a gun-toting youth who had opened fire on him moments earlier at Santa Fe Depot. San Diego Police Department officers Daniel Gold had just arrived in the area on an unrelated call when a fellow patrolman reported hearing gunfire at the historic Kettner Boulevard train station shortly before 9 p.m. on January 28th. According to SDPD officials, just before the shot sounded, a surveillance camera captured images of the teen walking on a boarding platform toward a pair of the other youths, one of whom suddenly pulled a gun and fired at least 2 shots at him before fleeing to the north with his companion. The targeted boy responded by running for his life to the south, then to the east through an open-air corridor at the downtown depot. Gold, the officer, meanwhile, hurried north toward the walkway with his gun drawn and his uniform-worn camera activated. Just as he got there, the teen emerged directly in front of him onto a sidewalk on the east side of the station, and the officer shot him at close range. The boy screamed and continued running for a short distance before collapsing. The officers then began performing CPR on him, while doing so finding a gun concealed under the youth's clothing near his right thigh, according to police. Paramedics took the teenager to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. His name has not been released. There are no indications that the teen fired his gun during the incident or was holding it when Gold, a 2-year member of the police department, opened fire on him. Following an investigation by the San Diego County Sheriff's Office, which investigates use of lethal force on the part of SDPD's SDPD's personal under terms of a regional agreement designed to prevent conflicts of interest. The district attorney's offices, while rule on whether Gold acted within the law when he shot the boy, or will rule on whether Gold acted within the law when he shot the boy. On February 6th, police arrested a suspect, another 16-year-old boy, in connection with the apparently non-injury gunfire that led to the police shooting, according to SDPD. His name has been withheld because he is a minor.
So basically, in summary, a 16-year-old boy, a child, was running for his life. A situation ideal. This is the type of situation where people will defend the police. Like, this is why we need the police for situations like this. And the cop sees the kid running towards him, again, trying to run and find safety. And his instinct is just to open fire and kill him.
Yeah. Only a cop's first instinct to respond to senseless violence is more senseless violence. It's it is like, I guess I hate that these like easy cop bait stories, because it's like so unfair. Like because you see the conditions. No one talks about the conditions. Yeah, the kid had a gun. Yeah, look, I'll be real with you. Most likely 2 little, we call them YNs, but 2 just little street kids on the streets. No, I'm not about to make no stereotypical story for them, but you know what makes these kids. You know what the type of environment that creates these type of children. It's poverty. It's lack of parents in the household. It's
which is also related to poverty.
So like these conditions create crime inherent, regardless of race. That the lack of creates crime, and that lack of is going to create, people who are struggling to survive, people who are, this is what I mean by it's unfair, because I have to go through this whole story of like, well, see, crime creates people who don't know how to, like, they're in struggle mode, and so they don't have time to worry about like an education or doing right. They gotta like worry about survival, and if this person is putting their survival on the line, then they gotta react, so they gotta keep a gun, and these are kids feeling like this. So I hate have to do that whole story when explaining why these kids probably had beef, why these kids probably had guns. It's it's the conditions. And the cop responded. He should understand those conditions and not respond to the solution isn't more violence. Solution is, we need to put wealth into these cities. We need to put resources. People need access to education, housing, healthcare, basic need stuff, so they won't be so inclined to do crime, won't feel like they have to join gangs and have to get guns to survive against other people who are also trying to survive in their neighborhoods. This is all long-winded just to say, I just hate these types of stories where it's you got to like defend, kids who just probably didn't have the proper upbringing, proper nutrients to like grow up. So like, yeah, this is who they turn out to be because the conditions are bad, and people are going to look at that, ignore all that, and just see a cop doing their job
Mm-hmm.
but the cop should not respond the same way the kids who have no sense of I don't know what's the word, like I don't even want to call it maturity, but like they don't know
children.
Better. You know better.
They're children, and also it's like even beyond that, I would even say that this is, to me, this is not even the typical type of story that even those racist like well, we haven't watched the whole tape yet type of people, because this kid was running away from gunfire. So it's like whenever there's a shooting, what do people do? They run away from it.
Yeah.
Anytime you hear gunshots, you're going to see people running from that direction.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually absolutely insane that he would open fire on someone running away from gunshots. It's someone who's acting naturally, who anyone would run away from gunfire.
People, I was getting like, are you with them? Are you part of that gang? What the hell? Like,
yeah,
them. God, what a tragic fucking running away from one gun-toting psycho into another gun-toting psycho.
Yes,
no, there's just with no hesitation, and it's like that's what I mean. I like, yeah.
And we don't know, like, I did watch the body cam footage, and it's hard to tell the kid. It's hard to tell what race he is. It's hard to really tell anything except that he just turned a corner and he's running, and just absolute insane reaction from a police officer. And yeah, as of this morning, I looked it up. Like we don't, no one's been identified yet, but just a tragic story of a kid being murdered.
Yeah. There's no names released on it, but R.I.P. to that kid.
Yeah, R.I.P. So switching gears, we are going to actually stay in California. We're going to San Francisco Hercules Police Department, which apparently is outside. Yeah, apparently it's outside of San Francisco. We're going to actually cover a Facebook post they made on their Facebook page. It reads, "The Hercules Police Department Coffee with a Cop event scheduled for 8 a.m. February 22nd at Starbucks has been postponed. Stay tuned for a new date." Now, why the fuck are we talking about this?
Coffee with a Cop. I just want to interject and say I used to be a barista, 5 years strong. You know what I mean? My old coffee shop used to have a policy where they gave cops free coffee.
Damn.
Yeah. And just like most policies, these cops abused it because these niggas came in and fucking just, "Can I get my coffee? Can I get my coffee? Can I get my coffee?" I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
You gonna spend half your time on shift shitting.
Yeah, dude.
You just sorry. I just
I know. Take a shot of espresso. He puts his hand right back on his gun. That's terrifying. Yeah. Chill out, bro. You don't need this espresso. Yeah. Take a hit of this weed, bro. Chill the fuck out.
Needs to be jittery. Sorry, I was triggered.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Sorry,
chill out, bro. Please. But the Facebook post is actually hilarious in the context of what's going on with the Hercules Police Department recently. And I think it was last week, maybe 2 episodes ago, we covered this headline that's related to the Hercules Police Department, but we're gonna go into it a little bit further. So I'm gonna be reading from The Guardian. Hercules police used a stun gun 3 times on a young man who was recovering from a medical emergency, specifically a brain seizure, because he wasn't following officers' commands to exit his car. So there you go. If you don't listen to a cop because you're literally having a seizure, he's going to tase you multiple times. Jack Bruce, now 22, suffered puncture wounds from the taser, multiple cuts and abrasions, and lingering back pain, in addition to his emotional distress, which he outlined in a federal lawsuit filed on Friday. The 25-page suit filed in U.S. District Court in Northern California alleges excessive force, battery, false arrest, negligence, defamation, and violation of the Americans with Disability Act. Shout out ADA. It turned out that the young man was suffering from an epileptic seizure, which is why he wasn't heeding directions. According to what is seen in the video, the lawsuit and medical records provided by his doctors. Later, Hercules police charged him with crimes to justify and cover up their actions, the lawsuit alleges.
That's a crazy ass story.
Yeah.
The cop couldn't recognize the man was having a seizure.
Yeah. Well, it's even crazier than that. So I again watched the body cam footage. I did this. I should get more appreciation.
We should subscribe to the
doing
Patreon
this shit to my soul.
Just to pay this man's fucking
my therapy, dude. You know I'm not in therapy. You know I do this podcast and I'm not in therapy. Please sign up for the Patreon.
This nigga just watching body cam TikToks. That's crazy.
I'm not even TikToks, bro. I'm watching the whole half hour.
Damn.
It's rough.
Damn.
And so this body cam footage is rough, and this article doesn't really do justice on how crazy it is because so basically he's like driven into a ditch. This man, he's had a seizure in a car. He's driven into a ditch, and now he's surrounded by his driver's side window is like two like EMT like firemen type, and on behind them in like the back window is the cop. And what's crazy about this is multiple times the word seizure is used. The EMTs are like, I think this dude's having a seizure. Other cops are like, hey, maybe this guy is having a seizure. Seizure. Like the word seizure is in the air. And I don't know, the cop who ends up getting mad that this guy is not getting out of the car. Like he keeps saying, "Get out of the car. You better listen to me, buddy. You better get out of the car." The guy's like, "Dude, I think he's had a seizure." He's like, "You better get out of the car right now, buddy."
That's so funny.
It's literally like that. It's like this. What is like this combination of that massive of an ego and that? I guess stupid. I mean, is it even? Am I even being too kind to grant him stupidity as an excuse here?
You are being very kind to grant him stupidity as an excuse because you know who else is scared of seizures and epilepsies? 15th century peasant farmers, nigga. What are you doing?
I couldn't have said it better myself.
He's a demon. He's possessed. Jump quick. Call the town crier, whatever. Somebody. That's fucking crazy.
But luckily, they didn't have tasers back then.
Burn him. What the shit? This nigga here. That's crazy. That's like, I can't even. That's profoundly stupid.
Yeah. This guy, get out of the car. I know you're possessed by Satan right now, and I'm going to kill you for that.
I took down 3 lepers today. What else scares this man?
Yeah. So he breaks the window, tases him, drags him out of the car. I mean, they were already saying that he had a seizure, and then they charge him with crimes after that to cover it up, right? So absolutely, what the fuck are cops doing out here? And so all that to say that they went on Facebook and announced they're canceling their Coffee with a Cop meetup because I'm sure at the precinct, one of the cops was like, "Hey, Chief, I noticed we're getting a lot of RSVPs to our Coffee with a Cop this week." Chief's like, "Whoa, well, that's great to hear. They really want to have a word with their law enforcement professionals." Guy's like, "I don't know, boss. I don't know if this will be a fun one, boss. I think maybe we should cancel this one." And so they did. So they had to cancel their Coffee with a Cop. For some reason, they don't want to have coffee with the public this week. They do it every month. Why aren't they doing it this month?
Yo, dude, I just feel bad for that dude.
Yeah, man.
I feel bad for the guy who had a seizure, had a car accident, had a seizure, and then woke up in jail.
Yeah, in handcuffs.
Yeah, he's like, "What happened?" He's like, "You had an episode. I hope a prison break, nigga, because you about to be." But I'm sorry, I didn't deliver that one, but it's anyway. Let's go to the next story.
Next story. Next story is you.
Okay, hold on. All right. All right, we going to Alabama with it. WKRG for an article headline: Grand jury recommends Alabama Police Department to be abolished.
Abolish the police.
Oh, shit.
All right.
Do I want to
All right, Alabama.
Do I want to fuck this grand jury? All right. But let's get into this story. A grand jury has called for an Alabama police department to be immediately abolished, calling it more of a criminal enterprise than a law enforcement agency, following the indictment of its chief and several officers on corruption charges. Huntsville.
By the way, more of a criminal enterprise than a law enforcement agency.
Damn.
Can y'all hear the snaps?
Damn.
Can y'all hear the snaps out there?
Get you a police department that can do both. But also, I don't know if they can do both. They might only be able to do one right now. We got to read the rest of the story. Huntsville, a small Alabama city of around 3,200, located around about 45 miles north of Birmingham.
So yeah, 3,200. This is a small ass town. 3,200 people in this small ass town.
North of Birmingham, placed its entire police force on administrative leave a day after the grand jury recommendation. What the fuck do you do after the police all go on leave? And then, like, criminals are just like, my time to shine, baby.
No.
Y'all didn't come up with no like alternative plans?
No, I wish, bro. I wish it was that, but no, they have like another sheriff's office coming in and taking over.
Okay, I always wondered.
They're like, yeah.
Okay.
And that's a good point, because like to me, that's what abolish the police means. Like to me, abolish the police doesn't really mean like abolish the concept of policing. It means abolish these police.
Yeah.
Every motherfucker who has a badge right now, turn that shit in.
Yeah.
Go, we'll give you job training for
abolish the bad apples.
You could go through like, software engineering boot camp or something. We'll help you pay for it. But we're hitting a reset button on this shit. And that's what they did. They abolished their police department.
Okay. And then brought in a better...
They're temporarily having like another sheriff's office come in and take over, but they're going to decide what to do ultimately. Okay. But yeah, let's keep going.
Huntsville, a small Alabama city of around 3,200, located about 45 miles north of Birmingham, placed its entire police force on administrative leave a day after the grand jury recommendation. Huntsville Mayor Jim Sawyer said Thursday in a statement that the Coleman County Sheriff's Department will temporarily take over law enforcement duties. The district attorney prosecuting the case, Champ Crocker, love the names.
Let's take a beat for the name,
Champ
bro.
Crocker.
Shout out the Alabama district attorney, Champ Crocker.
I know he
bro.
just got fucking Chad jaw. Just fucking Champ Crocker. I'm Champ Crocker. I'm here to get you all.
Yeah, dude. That guy would play quarterback for he was in the South, bro. In Bama.
He eats pussy first, all right? He goes, he that's a man who pleases first, all right? Champ Crocker told News Nation's Banfield on Thursday night that investigators found troubling things. 5 members of the Huntsville Police Department, including the chief, were indicted for a rampant culture of corruption, according to documents. They are accused of mishandling or removing materials from the department's evidence room. They have been charged with a variety of offenses, including misuse of state criminal databases and distribution of controlled substances to each other, according to the indictment.
So that's... Yeah, I just want to land on that real quick. It's a kind of a suspenseful read, the article. It's like they abolished their police corruption. Like, what's going on? What were they doing? Oh, they were doing all the drugs in the evidence room.
Yeah. What do you mean? Can you? What do you mean corruption? We'll get there.
And it's like, again, there's 5 cops and the chief. It's like, it doesn't sound like much, but again, this is a town of 3,200 people.
Yeah.
So this is probably like their department.
Yeah, that's it. That is probably the whole entire department.
Fucking having a rave in the evidence locker.
Dude, we're the cops. Yeah. Who's going to stop weird people? Yeah, I mean, it's that easy.
What do we get this week, boys? Line it up. Line it up.
Oh, shit.
There's people, locals are driving by their precinct. It's like,
it's just,
what the hell's going on in there?
It's probably lit to be a cop if you weren't so hypocritical, murderous psychopath.
I know.
God.
I know they called it a criminal enterprise in the beginning. I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of dramatic. Criminal enterprise sounds like me and my buddies in high school.
Yeah. They're describing like Grand Theft Auto, like
dude,
a criminal enterprise.
As far as all the police departments in the last year that could have been abolished, I mean, these boys will be boys sometimes. Let them have some fun. They got hard jobs.
That's
cops got hard jobs.
Exactly.
Line it up.
All work and no play makes Officer Johnny kill a lot of people. So we gotta let him do the coke, bro. But this is my favorite part. It's a sad part. It's a tragic part. This is kind of my favorite part of the story. Not my favorite part, but it's just It's a little insane. An investigation began after a dispatcher was found dead of a drug overdose at work in August.
Ashton was like, ooh, my favorite part.
It's not my favorite part, but that's, you really think about that. An investigation began after a dispatcher. This is how deep it goes.
Yeah.
Nigga, the dispatcher was fucked up.
You can't have your dispatcher be fucked up on drugs.
You cannot have a crackhead dispatcher. That's the last person
you call 911. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
You call 911. You're like,
is this 911? Yeah.
A crackhead dispatcher, bro. That's like, help, 911. Someone's been stealing all the radios out of people's cars. I know it's me. I am. Flick. I know. Problem solved. It's me. You know, this is crazy. The dispatcher. It's sad that they died, but it's a crazy scenario. But the investigation revealed many employees had access to the evidence room where confiscated drugs were located. The grand jury found that the department mismanaged, left the evidence unusable as far as pending cases go. If evidence has been tampered with, it's unusable, Crocker said. We think it's certainly possible that cases could have to be dismissed.
Hilarious. Yeah. Prosecutors like, that man is selling drugs. The defense is like, what drugs? I don't see any drugs. Well, where'd all the drugs go? Mr. Prosecutor, you telling my client selling drugs? I don't see any drugs.
Show me the drug. That's a fucking, yeah. So since they did all the drugs, that's like incredible.
Why are you abolishing these police officers? I like these guys.
So I guess they're all just free to go. we all accidentally did the crack, you guys.
Yeah.
So.
I guess y'all win the drug war. Congratulations, boys.
You're not supposed to be doing the crack. You're supposed to be sprinkling on innocent black people. What are you doing, Steve?
And here's a detail I got to share with you that on the way here, I was looking through more articles on this story. So the way that they accessed the drugs in the evidence room was through a hole in the wall.
Oh, God, comical.
So, and like there's an image of, I don't know, I hope it's not the dispatcher, because RIP to that guy, but of a cop with his head through the wall. Yeah. They're literally sticking their head through a hole in the wall and just sniffing up lines from the evidence room.
Oh man, that was either a big rock or some dry roll. I don't know what the fuck I just snorted. Woo! Yeah. That was either that good shit or I need to go to the hospital right now.
Quit hogging the hole. It's my turn on the hole, buddy. Let me get in there.
Freebasing cock. That's crazy. That's crazy, dude.
A fucking hole in the wall. And I'm sure it's because of like, some like regulations they have about like who opens the door or whatnot. And they were like, well, not say nothing about a damn hole in the wall.
That's and you got a fucking junkie police force when they're not even respectable with it. The crack could be if it's in the wall, they'll do crack on the toilet seat. They don't give a fuck. That's crazy. That would be embarrassing. Johnson, get your head out of the wall. Your head out of the wall. Go get that cat out of their fucking tree.
Yeah. Go talk to the kids about not doing drugs.
Hey kids, all right, so don't do drugs.
Guys, don't do fentanyl. It's awesome. You don't want to get involved in this.
Don't do drugs. Save some for me. I gotta go.
Now, to round this out, we are going to be turning here to New York City, or to New York State, actually, I should say, where the prison, I'm surprised it isn't making more national headlines, but the New York State's prison guards are currently on strike. They're not showing up to their job of being prison guards. So I'll be reading here from NBC. Governor Kathy Hochul signed an executive order Wednesday dispatching National Guard members to New York State prisons. Like, bro, already what kind of like Gotham City shit is this? To New York City state prisons where corrections officers are holding unauthorized strikes. it's illegal for them to go on these strikes as state workers working in the penitentiaries, and it has also not been authorized by the union. So they're going outside their own union. More than 3,500 National Guard members reported for duty earlier Wednesday to assess the greater needs before issuing a larger department, the governor's office said in a news release announcing the action. The Guard members will maintain general order in the prisons in addition to distributing meals and medication to inmates, officials added. And I want to mention quickly on this last thing, distributing meals. So I know take this with a grain of salt because it's on TikTok, but I saw this lady on TikTok before I read this story, before it was on like official print. This lady on TikTok went viral because she was talking about how she's like, my husband is in these New York State prisons right now. And guess what? They're not getting food. He hasn't eaten in 24 hours. He hasn't been able to leave his cell because the guards are on strike. So anyways, back to the article. The officers' job action began Monday and has spread to at least a dozen prisons where they say staffing shortages and dangerous conditions are placing their safety at risk. And again, I want to make another quick comment here. Like, as terrible I'm sure these conditions are for these prison guards, that means times a million for the prisoners that are not being talked about in these mainstream media articles. And again, these are the same state prison guards who, as we talked about earlier in the episode, killed Robert Brooks in cold blood. They beat a handcuffed man to death. And we saw the body cam footage was released a couple weeks ago. It's horrifying, but these are the conditions going on in New York's infamously terrible prisons and jails, even on American standards. So,
in the same prison with Khalif Browder, and is that
who's that? I don't know.
Khalif Browder. I'm pretty sure that's the kid who got put into Rikers and
yes. Yeah, and we're gonna talk about what's going on in Rikers as well. But yes, you're exactly correct. So going back here, most recently, the Collins Correctional Facility in Erie County was locked down last week after employees said they were threatened and inmates barricaded themselves inside of dorms. The officers' union, the New York State Correctional Officers and Police Benevolent Association, hilarious, said the walkouts and demonstrations outside of facilities, including Collins, have been unsanctioned as leadership attempts to negotiate a resolution with the governor's office and the State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision.
Benevolence organization.
Yeah, hilarious, right?
Ministry of Truth ass name.
Yeah. But isn't this some like Gotham City ass shit going on right now? Kathy Hochul calling in the National Guard to take over our prisons, which are so in horrible conditions that the prison guards are leaving. Like, will someone please think of the prison guards?
Yeah, guys, we can't be, we can't use National Guards here in the prisons. Who's going to be in the subway? Who's going to be killing regular citizens in the subway?
I mean, what does that say? I mean, look, I'm a fairly new New Yorker relatively, but like, what does that say that our new governor, Kathy Hochul, has had to call in the National Guard twice in like a year? That can't be good.
Come on, yeah. This is all I can like really think about is like just the prisoners, because I'm like reading. Yeah, I was reading about prison strikes and like over like the century in America, and like prison strikes of like they are constant, and like and also prisoners, they like a lot like woker than you think. Like yeah, they're definitely criminals, but then you'll see like in the prison strikes, you'll see like labor parties, like labor movements, and like
big time,
like literal movements for like to help people in like Palestine or help like
being marginalized radicalizes you.
Yeah,
I mean, I've always noticed that with like
I'm a victim of a system. Yeah. We all the victim of the system.
Bro, it's like
I'm Muslim.
You know who has great politics? Sex workers. Have you noticed that? Like you go on like their Instagrams and it's like thirst trap,
donate to
abolish all prisons and free Palestine. You're like, dude, this is the best Instagram account ever.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But
it's you're very much,
But it's like anyone who is marginalized, whether they're doing a job, their occupation is criminalized, or whether they are completely as like having to live as slaves under the incarceration system. If you talk to like Palestinians, like Palestinians have a really good grasp on being like anti-police and pro-black within the U.S. because they understand if you're marginalized, that radicalizes you, and it makes total sense to me that prisoners are on like some super woke shit.
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense to be like, well, you say that, but also the government, politicians, they've all figured out ways to make people who are marginalized vote against their own interests. So it's like,
but voting doesn't really apply to this section of the population.
No, yeah, literally.
And I would say there's probably, I wonder if like what are they called? I wonder if the Aryan nation within the prison systems are also like left leaning when it comes to.
That's what was shocking me when I was reading about like the racial unity that ended up coming together because it's like obviously in spot prison strikes and it's like in certain areas, but they actually had like Rainbow Coalition type movements in prisons where it was like literal Aryan nation Muslims coming like actual racial.
We the Nation of Islam are united with the Aryan Nation for this moment, temporarily.
And that is Martin Luther King's dream right there. That is literally what he saw happening.
Well, here, let me like do a quick little. There's actually a lot more to cover with what's happening right now in New York prisons. One big thing is the reasons. Some of the reasons they're going on strike is insane. And we're also going to cover, we got new stories coming out of Rikers Island right now, which is a jail system in New York, not a prison. But there's crazy shit going on there right now with Eric Adams. He's tied up into all that. But we're going to cover all that on the Patreon. So please sign up for our Patreon and you'll hear that episode. You'll get a bonus episode every week. And if you can't do the Patreon right now, please give us 5 stars. Please help pay for my therapy. I need help. Yeah. Please help us the best you can.
That shit is crazy. I'm definitely not watching the body cam videos.
It's brutal.
Kind of fucking Jordan Peele horror, black horror shit is that?
Yeah, bro. You don't need to watch you don't need to watch it. Let me watch it.
I'm tired of black pain in Hollywood. That's how all they show is black struggle in the media in black Hollywood.
I like how you started and ended with your inner white woman. Beautifully. Beautiful episode. Beautiful arc for you.
Didn't even plan that. Yeah. It just happened.
Yeah.
It just happened.
We're not that good of writers. We could not have planned that.
It just naturally, she just comes out.
Yeah. Anyways, y'all, we'll see y'all on the Patreon. If not, we'll see y'all next week. Thanks for listening.
Bye.